Okay.
So we're good.
Yep.
All righty, I'll call the meeting to order at 11:34. We have a quorum. First order of business is to review the minutes from November. Just a question or a statement. The next time we change any minutes and we submit amendments, the amendment should be posted in the minutes. There was a couple things, I forget what it was. Oh, Joe made a motion to accept 2 corrections. Those corrections should be in the minutes.
From last month.
Yeah, we corrected something for the September minutes and it should be reflected, in the October minutes, and it should be reflected in the November minutes, not just that, 2 corrections.
Oh, with corrections, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, that should say November minutes that we're reviewing today.
Yes, yeah. No, I didn't even bother with that. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, but put that in there. Okay. Any questions or comments about the minutes? May I have a motion to approve?
So moved, David.
Thanks, David. Do I have a, thank you, Ally. All in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand.
Aye.
So we get you one way or the other.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Minutes are accepted. All righty, financial report. Things don't look very healthy, do they? At least as of December 1st.
Right, so December 1st, we closed on 104 Washington. So there was some income from that. And then December 2nd, I believe, we closed on the Leviticus loan, the construction loan. So we have considerably more revenue and income for December.
So we can breathe a little easier.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments about the
How much was the sale of 104 Washington?
So the purchase price was $60,000.
And the amount of the construction loan?
Well, the total amount was $675,000, and we received a disbursement of $303,000.
Great.
Right. What are we, from a revenue standpoint, what are we projecting the next 3 to 6 months regarding any property we have in inventory that we can either sell unrestricted or sell similar to 104 Washington? Like, do we have a 2022 budget or financial projection or estimate in any way of where we see the cash position in 90 and 180 days?
I mean, I can update what I've sent before. I mean, there's a few different things that could possibly be sold in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's important. I mean, we're at the
Yeah.
point now where obviously the Leviticus loan creates some breathing room, but it's a loan, it's not a grant. So we have to make sure, obviously, we're managing expenses on our side as it relates to projects so that we have the ability to pay that loan back appropriately. My question is, independent of that, I think it's important because of our current financial state that we do a deeper dive on specifically what our revenue and what our expenses are going to look like for the next 6 months, because we really don't have any wiggle room from best I can tell. And we need to be really to the best we can be on a shoestring budget, I think. In terms of expenses, in terms of projects, in terms of delaying projects if we have to, or taking a look at our overhead and cost. But unless I'm misinterpreting the financial statement, that's kind of where things feel like they're at.
Yeah, no, certainly. And we can look at the numbers in a more specific way. We do have some sales coming up, and we also have the Legacy Cities program, or, funding will begin in the spring. We won't be getting very much from that, but that's another thing coming down the pike, and some of the buildings that we're working on now all of them will hopefully be sold by the spring.
Yeah, so I think it'd be important before the next meeting, or certainly for the next meeting, to have a projection, of where we see the revenue and expenses for 90 and 180 days. And I think we have to update it quarterly. I don't think we can do it on an annual basis. I think we need to be very responsive to our current circumstance. And additionally, I don't know if someone like Madeline Fletcher or others can help us, give us some indicator. Is there going to be another round of land bank funding? If so, do we have an estimate on what we might be eligible for? Do we know when it might be made available? I think that's a very important consideration. And as a board member, I'd like to know more about it at or before the next board meeting, whether it's good news or bad news. I think it's important we have a sense of where we stand.
There isn't anything that is confirmed at this point. There's stuff that is being proposed in the state budget for land bank that would be similar to what we have, but we won't know that until later in the spring.
Yeah, quite a bit later.
And
well, the state budget's March 31. Now, they may or may not pass it on time, but the state budget is typically pegged to be passed by March 31. So we should have some indication well before that where land bank consideration falls in the budget. The question is there any efforts we can undertake, like I said, with Madeline or others, whether it's official or unofficial lobbying for the position, or if the State Land Bank Association has efforts already underway to do this, but I feel like we can't be spectators in this.
no, certainly. And there is, the Land Bank Association is doing a lot of advocacy, and we're going to be doing lobbying similar to what we did last year on a federal level for the state. And there's a lot going on. It's just everything's kind of, uncertain as to the outcome at this point. But, the positive thing is that there is a lot more funding available on all different government levels right now. It just remains to be seen what is the actual programs will be and how we'll be able to access them, and how much money will be available. But we're definitely keeping our eyes on that and participating in the lobbying efforts.
I think keeping that top of mind among board members. Certain board members may have other connections, may be able to help in advocacy, may be willing to help politically, financially, and otherwise. So I think we've got to just make sure that even if it's an unofficial update or a blast, weekly, every other weekly email that's not part of the minutes, just some sort of communication. Ask for help when you need it. I just feel like we need to be more connected to it.
Yeah, certainly.
I think that as board members that we can participate individually also. So if we have, this bill is up, and this is who sponsored it, and this is who we would connect with to, say we're supporting it. Those kind of letters go far, and I don't know that information, and as members we should know, so we can do our personal reaching out, and not on a group level. So it's fine for the State Land Bank Association to work on it, but we can do things too.
Right.
Excellent, David. Thank you. Any other questions about the report? I just had a thought. I was wondering, Paul said that when he had to resign from his position that he would help in any way he could. I'm wondering if he might be willing, and if you guys would be comfortable with it, submitting this financial report to him, ask him to peruse it and make comments. That's it. Because I really miss his understanding of this. I think
Sure.
as Arhelia gets more up to date and up to speed, she can certainly help. But in the meantime, what do you think about asking Paul if he would review stuff?
I think it'd be great. I would certainly be in favor of that. He's a super smart guy and he wants the land bank to be successful. So I would hope if he's willing to, I think as long as it doesn't run afoul of any regulatory, some related to the charter of the land bank as a non-board member, I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. I think that, and it's a good way to keep him in our circle. Because there may be other times that we need his expertise or his business skills, and just to feel comfortable calling him and say, hey, Paul, can you help us out? Oh, good. Then I will contact him now and ask him maybe after the holidays, if for the January meeting, maybe he could review our stuff.
Lisa, to David's point, do we know if there's any regulatory restrictions of that, being a non-board member?
I don't think so, because this is all public knowledge, all this paperwork. So it's
Right.
not like nobody can see it except board members.
Right.
So I can't personally foresee a problem with that.
Fair enough, yep.
Good. All righty. I need a motion to approve the financial report.
I'll make that motion, Lisa. It's Joe.
Joe, thank you, Joe. Second?
I'll
Second,
second.
Oh, Ally beat you
Alan. Yeah,
next
okay.
time. Andre. Okay, all in favor, raise your hand and say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All righty. We accept the financial report. Next object of business, whatever, strategic planning process.
So I just sent a doodle poll to the board, and thank you for those who already responded, about the follow-up meeting that we discussed to have in January. So I put out some dates for the end of the month. And we really need to kind of wrap it up in February because we have some funding that we have to report for, which I've already extended.
Okay, I didn't either. Did you send it out today?
Yeah. just a
Okay,
little while
yeah.
ago.
Alrighty, so everyone, please, anytime you can be, in a hurry about this stuff, please do, and definitely say something. If none of the dates work, none of the dates work. If you have some issue with the time of day or place or anything, speak up, so we can make adjustments as early as possible. So I'll get on my doodle poll when I get off here.
And I forgot to put this in the agenda, but there's letter that that Allison sent to all the board members that needs to be signed off on. It's like a fiduciary duty letter that is required, and the audit, it's part of our audit. So we need to get those in so we can complete our audit.
Yes, please. And they can be electronically signed and sent back in.
Yes.
sorry, was there more about the strategic planning process, or you
Just
just
that-
wanted us to do? Oh, okay.
Just that we were gonna be following up on it and at the
Well,
next.
So can I offer a follow-up? So I had offered in the meeting to reach out to a city resident I knew who was a development director. She is willing to lead an ad hoc committee. She doesn't want to be on a board, but she's willing to lead an ad hoc committee, and had some suggestions of local people and what that development would, the development of the development committee would be. So if that's something that we are interested in moving forward with, let me know and I can talk to her about timing and who from our board should liaise, or if you want her on the next board to kind of talk about it. She said there's some very basic IRS issues that you need to just make sure that you're aware of before you start collecting money. And then it can go really easy or really complicated. She highly recommended that we look at a client management software. She said there are some good free ones and some great relatively cheap ones. And so one of the things she would be willing to do, and said is one of the first things that's often done, is kind of do the cost benefit analysis. You know, if we spend money on this program, or, you know, will we be able to raise significantly more, for example. So I think having someone to talk to about fundraising it would at least be helpful for me. So if anyone else wants to, I'm happy to have her come at a future meeting.
To those of you who were not at the first strategic planning retreat, Ally's referring to the idea that we floated around about developing a way to raise funds through our own agency. It was an idea I tossed around with Madeline a couple of years ago. It didn't go anywhere, but just, you know, it takes some setting up to start to be able to fundraise, that people just can't just send in money, which would be nice, but, and also not just fundraise individuals, but starting to look for financial backers who have some cash and or ideas for more, not real estate development, but development of our organization. And I think that we have to go that way. We can't be waiting for money to just show up whenever somebody's largesse comes through. So anyway, I think it's a great idea, Ally. And let's check on the dates that we come up with the next half of this strategic planning, and when our next board meeting is, and coordinate some dates. But I definitely think someone, your friend should, I'd love to have her come and address us as a whole and tell us what her ideas are.
Totally agree. It's a great.
All righty. Anything else in that area, Jen?
No.
Okay. The HERO Act policy, where's mine? Oh, yeah. That's the new name for what we've been signing in any group of people. You have to come up with your plan and sign off on it. I think it used to be called infectious disease control or something.
Well, I think in this case, it's, this is required of employers in New York State, so.
Yes. Yep.
It's more related to that in particular. And I just, Darius shared a template that the Department of Labor had, and we just filled it out.
And to whom is this submitted? The Department of Labor?
I believe so. Or I don't know if we have to submit it or just have it.
I'm sure if it's mandatory, somehow somebody's got to know that you've done it.
Mhm. Right.
Yeah, it seemed pretty straightforward. I don't think I wouldn't add any more, just so that keep it as simple as possible. And it seems to cover our issues.
Yeah, I don't think we submitted it to anybody. I think it's the ask of having it in place and having staff aware of the policies, procedures that have been identified.
Right.
I'll double check here, but I don't think we submitted it anywhere.
I don't think, I agree with Joe. Our company is a New York company. I don't think we submitted it either, but it was reviewed with all team members.
Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. Whether it needs to be
Good.
filed anywhere. I'll let Jennifer know.
Now, David, at your company, did the employees have to sign off? And like
We
put the
did that,
Social
yeah.
Security number, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so we'll need that. Okay, that's pretty cut and dry, good.
Mhm.
Okay, employee handbook.
Well, do we have to vote on that? I don't know if it's a policy.
Do you think so?
I mean, it's regulatory and statutory, so it's probably not really up for a no vote, but if we want to memorialize it in the record, I'd be happy to make a motion that we've completed the appropriate paperwork and that staff has acknowledged that it's been reviewed with them to the extent it has.
Yep, it's good
And
for the,
have a, I'm sorry.
no, I just said it's good for the record to do that.
Yeah, I would think so. So I'll, unless there's any further discussion, I'll make the motion to approve the policy as completed.
Any second?
Second,
Ally got it. All in favor, aye, and raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
And Jen, just make sure somewhere you have the signatures of everyone who reviewed the policy.
Okay.
It's more than a policy, Jen, right? There's specific requirements that we have to meet, specifically for obviously social distance, where everybody's pretty much remote today, but there are specific items in there that have to be followed and discussed with the employees.
Right. Well, we'll review it at our next staff meeting.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. On to property matters. House to home.
We don't have too many updates, just that we're wrapping up the Johnston Street. They're working on punch list items. Again, those applications for purchase are due January 15th, and they're available on our website for anybody who's interested. And yeah, they're ordering their CFO inspections shortly. And Lander Street, they just got windows in and are moving along there as well. Since we finally got our construction loan, we're able to pay off our contractors to get them moving again. And I mean, not that they had stopped work, but it's a little more of an incentive to carry on. And so we're happy. That's a much more comfortable place to be. That's really all.
What are the projected sales for Johnston and Lander? What are we projecting or estimating for our proceeds?
Not very much, because we're gonna have to put most of that back into the other projects. It's not gonna, I don't have an exact figure right now, but it's because there's been some change orders, but we won't be getting very much from the Johnston Street ones. It'll more so from Lander.
And what are we thinking from Lander?
Maybe 50 or 60,000
Total or for each?
each.
And we set for the Johnson Street properties, we set a price, did we not?
Yes.
Can you remind me of what
Oh,
those were?
so it's for 27 Johnson, which is the 2-family. The price is 260,000.
Right.
And 43 Johnson is 280.
So our sale price is 540,000, and the amount of work we did basically means we're going to net zero.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. A lot of it will mostly be going back into the other projects.
What
So
do you mean?
their
number is that?
projected income, like 84,000, I think was the amount I had for 27 Johnson, something similar for 43, but those have to be reinvested. So it is money that we'll be getting.
Well, that's what I'm asking. I mean,
Yeah.
as a standalone transaction, we're going to get 540 in. How much did we spend on the property? Not that we're going to take the proceeds and go
So
use
about
it.
450,000.
Is what we spent.
Yeah. I mean, it's different for each, so I'd have to look at the budgets individually.
Wow. These numbers are just getting crazy.
I can share the budgets that I have.
Yeah, why not? Send those out.
And then when you're so there's a net of about 130. You're saying we have to. That's stipulated by the house to home project that has to be reinvested in the next house to home project?
No, that's the money that we'll have to continue doing the other projects.
Okay, so it's not governed per se. It's just what
No,
we're gonna, it's what
Out
we're
of
going to do.
necessity. Yeah,
Yeah, it's, really slim margins, but, we're trying to keep it. You can't, I don't use the word affordable anymore. I don't even know what to call the numbers. It's what we put in and basically like, 10, 15% for administration, but that's not really going in administration. It's going back in to start or working on rehab of other buildings. So it's just not a lot. It's just amazing how much it costs to rehab these things.
Right, well, that was sort of my question before, and Ally sort of alluded to it indirectly with fundraising, is these are the things we really have to manage very carefully, because I don't want to start a brand new project for 250 when we have 130 in proceeds and no money in the bank, and now we're stuck. So we got to be mindful of the pace in which we're doing things, as well as the cost of individual projects, and which are worth doing now and which aren't.
Yeah. Alrighty, and what did we say about? 150 Lander. I saw they put the windows in. That looks nice. Lander Street, I drove by the other day to go over to the office. So then yesterday I walked. It's amazing what's happening on Lander Street. You can basically can't navigate it in a car because there's construction on both sides on all the blocks. It's just really impressive. And there's so many buildings that have been rehabbed already there that that's just a huge transformation. So I'm excited about that.
yeah, and most of those are related to, our projects in some way.
What's the I'm sure I know, but I can't remember the large commercial looking unit on one of the corners. It looks like it doesn't look like a house. I don't know if it's an apartment building and it just has a big.
It's new construction, Lisa?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna I think there might be one housing unit in that building, but that'll have like their laundry facilities, that required community space is gonna be mostly in that building.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's just really, really exciting. Alrighty, moving right along. The lots on Lander Street.
Not a whole lot to report on that. We just finally got all the sign-offs, and they're supposed to be on the subdivision plan, which was supposed to be filed with the county, I think last week. I was just waiting on confirmation of that.
Okay. We talked a little bit about 104 Washington. Any more to fill in about that?
Only that they had, according to our agreements, they have 3 months to pull permits. And the restrictions in the deed are related to them getting the affordable housing financing that they had put in their proposal, which was home funding from the county and the small building PLP program from the state. So we have that as a requirement that they get that funding.
And what's the deadline date for that?
To get the funding.
For the various things that you just described.
Oh, well, it's 3 months to pull permits. We weren't able to get a really strong language in the like as a deed restriction for completion, because we signed the purchase agreement with them earlier on in the COVID pandemic, and there was a lot of things that were being agreed to during that time that were timing language was people didn't want to put in. So we don't have as strong of a restriction on that, but they do have the 3-month deadline to pull permits and the restrictions on the financing.
Well, we gotta know something. I mean,
There's an agreement. We do have a side agreement with them with the schedule of completing work, but it's just, it doesn't have like a reverter enforcement on it.
ew.
Yeah. I went back and forth with the attorneys about that, and it just, because of when the purchase and sale agreement was signed, it wasn't really possible.
Is there a period of time just to demo?
I'd have to look back into that. I don't remember that specifically.
In the future, that I think that's always my preference with the bad shells is, you know, worst case if we just get a clean site back,
Right.
or city
Right.
stuck with a clean.
You know, it's pretty evident with this project that they've put in, you know, they've invested quite a bit at this point, so it's unlikely that it won't do what they proposed, but
Yeah,
understood.
but we can't go on those kind of.
No, I know, it was just, it wasn't possible because of the timing.
Well, well, I guess we're just gonna have to watch very closely, and if we don't like what we see, we may have to revisit it. Because I don't like the idea that we don't have a reverter clause. As nasty as those are, I wish we never had to take advantage of that, but
And what did timing have to do with better or worse terms in the contract? I'm not quite understanding why timing would prevent us or not prevent
Because
us from having clauses we wanted.
Because at the time that the contract was signed, there was so much uncertainty about, you know, when construction could be completed in a timely fashion, that purchasers weren't wanting to, you know, agree to a specific, it's going to take me 18 months to complete this, when there was so much uncertainty in the market.
that's a COVID.
That was what
right?
it was. That was how the attorney explained it to me. I don't know if Darius can add to that.
Well, if I'm a buyer, I would love to have no rules either. But that would be in 2020 or 1920. I mean, that's, to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing the point, but
I think when COVID hit, I forget the date of the contract, but no one was willing, well, at least that buyer wasn't willing to commit to a specific time period to complete the project, with the reverter going back after whatever it was, 18 months. So when that was done, the determination was that the language would be revised slightly to make the deal work.
I appreciate that. My only point is, and I don't have it in front of me, so maybe I'm overstating it or misstating it, but I don't know how we get into agreements that have no remedy. I appreciate that maybe we typically have a firmer remedy period or reverter clause or goalpost, but to have none and to have no rights and to relinquish the property doesn't sound like that. Sounds like it was a choice we made, and I'm not sure why we would have made it.
And I don't think this board approved, you know, if told that, would have approved it that way. I think that's
No.
a bigger concern.
I agree.
Let me look at the contract, and I'll follow up with everyone in an email.
Yeah, I appreciate that on the front end of COVID, people were not looking to put down specific stipulations, but to me, it's not a binary choice of a firm date or zero. I think there's ways to craft language that talks about, you know, general terms, revisiting term. I mean, there's maybe Darius, you'll find it in there. Maybe I'm responding to something that's just not been fully explained. I don't know. But to Alex's point, I don't think we're going to relinquish a piece of property of that value and have no rights. I hope.
Yeah. Let me look at that, and I'll send it back with the board.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, I'll send an email.
Thank you.
Sorry if I was interrupting someone there.
No, that was me. I was going to suggest the same. I think we need to look at the contract and see exactly what's in there, because we don't know all the parts that we're discussing. So I'll wait on your direction.
Okay.
All righty. Now, is they're not going to try to save any of 104 Washington, right?
No,
No, there was already a ARC demo approval on it. We did that preemptively, and I think the planning board approval that they have and all the site plans is to completely demolish and rebuild.
Okay. There was, I remember back quite a few years ago, there was talk of salvaging something. And I thought we'd abandoned that idea. Is there anything on the city side, Ally, when they got the demo okay, that requires them to get this done in a certain period of time?
Yeah, so all the approvals have expirations. The planning board, they have to vest the planning board approvals within a certain time. They have to vest each of the individual approvals within a year. So that'll put him in, slightly beyond the 3-month building permit
Right.
issue now. And so once he gets his permits, they expire 6 months unless they're renewed for good reason.
Okay.
Then he'd have to start all over, though, which is almost worse for the land bank, because he would set, we at that point, I think if we had clawbacks, we would say, you messed up, we're taking it back, and we would potentially have to sit there and watch him do it all over again.
right, I mean, the agreement does refer to the building permits must be obtained within 3 months, and also 18 months to get the certificate of occupancy. I think
Right.
what the difference is that it's not an automatic reverter. We would have to take him to court. But I'll let Darius review it and explain further. I think we're
Okay.
trying to do more automatic reverters rather than, because of our experience of having to take another purchaser to court to avoid that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But not, but here we don't have much of anything. And I'm sorry if I'm not paying attention. Does this also refer to 143 Washington?
I don't think so.
So we probably, we
I'll look
should
at the
have,
contract. I'll look at the contract, Lisa and
Okay.
Jennifer, and update you on the ones that we are looking at, and as many as we can of where the reverter is and how it's laid out.
okay,
I know we were negotiating some other contracts recently too. For, I forget the addresses off the top of my head. I think
128 Du Bois is in process.
Yeah.
Yep.
and speaking of which, what's going on there?
We're just working out we've sent them a draft of the purchase and sale agreement. I think we're awaiting their response.
Okay. Okay, so it's in their hands at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So we should have something, we'll let the year end, and if, we'll push very hard if by the next board meeting, we do not have that contract. Do
Yeah.
some leaning upon. Okay, Legacy City.
I don't really have anything new. We're just, continuing with the pre-development, and we're working out the plans and hammering down numbers. So there isn't anything too new on that.
Okay. And something keeps flipping through my mind I wanted to bring up, and I didn't write it down. I'll keep going. 10 Chambers Street, the appraisal for that.
So the appraisal came in, which I think I shared.
Yes.
And we have a draft RFP that we prepared. So I don't know if the board has any comments or changes to the
The
proposal.
the $93,000 appraisal, if I read it correctly, is as is where is?
Yep.
Okay.
Right?
As is
That's-
what?
As is where is, like 90, if somebody showed up today and wanted to pay the appraised value, it's 93,000 for the condition it's in currently.
Yes.
Correct.
No, it's
And-
not
and which
subject to any
includes-
changes. You're gonna
Right.
say, Alan?
And including the significant easements, which I just want to make sure everyone is aware of.
Yeah.
There are some significant easements on that property.
Can
Which
you
is
go
great
over
to still
those
get.
alleys? Because I didn't really understand so much.
I'll try, but so the what is known as the Elks Lodge, Lisa,
Yeah,
that's the first one. So that's 3520. So they have the property is subject to an easement of right of way in, on, under, and over the premises by pedestrians and vehicles, and for the repair, maintenance, improvement, and replacement of any utilities for the benefit of the subject in the parcel. That one, it'd be great. I think we should, if it's possible, have someone go out and actually read the deed, because the city had a similar one over ours, 151, that was actually temporary. And so it would be great if this was a temporary easement as well, and that one had expired. But that's a pretty significant one because of the and. It's not just for repair and maintenance. And then there's the next is a parcel, which one? 106 Broadway. It's the third in on Broadway from Chambers, so it's the middle of the block, which is problematic.
Is that lot 20, is that lot 27 on the,
That's lot 27, correct. So they have additionally an easement of 25 feet for ingress egress of commercial vehicles, including the largest motor vehicle for highway use. That's a lot of land.
wow.
And then the 20-foot easement of right of way benefiting the subject over the adjacent parcel coming from the east too. So it's over a significant portion, it's the entirety of that, the entire southern portion of that parcel cannot be developed.
To 25 feet.
To
Right.
25 feet, right,
Yeah.
and then 20
Wow.
north of the, or east of the property. But, and then you also have to potentially, I hope that there's a small issue with the appraisals title deed research. And I hope that on the north side of the property, it's a temporary easement as it was over 151. If not, there is also a right of way on the north side of that property. A easement.
Wow.
But to David's point, even with that, they still believe that it's worth 93,000. And I guess the second part is just make sure that the RFP reflects that there are some, just general language, there are some known easements over this property that would be the responsibility of the developer to either work to buy out or build around.
Yeah, and I think, I'm sure Darius would agree from a disclosure standpoint, not only legally do we have to disclose them, I think to Ally's point, it's important that we call them out so we don't end up with a dispute later on and have people who can't develop it or claim their plan doesn't work. They didn't realize any, the more we flush out at the beginning, the better.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is pretty, significant. You're talking about 50 feet of a 90-foot lot.
This is
That's
beginning
a
to sound
big
like
chunk of
land
land.
use case law to me, which is not exciting for us. But, for 93,000, as long as we have our disclosures, it's, for
To
those
be
of us
honest,
who've been.
David, I think they would buy it out, right? That's the one for 106 is stupid. They're never going to need a truck that big to access. Well, maybe they would, but I think for another 100,000, this lot is still a really attractive lot potentially, and you spent 200,000 and you get it, you get rid of that easement. I don't know, but I just think we should tell them because that would be an added cost no matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
look,
the
I think
status-
the
Go ahead.
disclosures are critical.
On their purchase, they're gonna get title insurance, so
Yeah, exactly.
Title insurance is gonna show that, and they'll have to make, you know, an informed decision.
Exactly right. Yeah, right. No, that's right. That's right. They'll do it. But if we have the knowledge, we can save everybody some time. I mean, title
Right, we don't
company's
wanna
gonna
get to
figure
the
this all out
close.
anyway.
Yeah,
Definitely. No, yeah, go ahead and tell them. They're gonna find out anyway, so we can look like a good guy and,
Well, it saves everybody time.
yeah, and transparency.
Yep.
Ally, do you know what's going on with the Elks Club? Is it just sort of sitting there?
They have worship. I mean, if you go by on Sunday, they definitely use it for worship.
Oh.
But I don't think they use it any other day of the week.
Uh-huh. I wasn't even aware that was happening.
Yes,
Okay.
it's a Haitian church that owns it, and they prior to COVID, I actually don't know post-COVID, but prior to COVID, they were absolutely using it regularly, just weekly.
Mhm.
yeah, and using our lot as parking. Even, when they have expressed interest in purchasing the lot, but I don't think they
Yeah.
have. the-
Yeah, but it has to be
About the
for
price.
development, not a parking lot.
Right.
And I've heard buzz, some professionals are looking to move into that area of Broadway, lower Broadway. So I think it would be saleable. I'm glad it's 93,000. I'm surprised by that, especially considering the easements, but great.
So
So
with
we need
that,
to take an action.
with that addition of language disclosing the easements, are there any other feelings about going forward with releasing an RFP?
I think it's great.
I do too, David. I think that all the information that Ackerley and Hubble included, really spells out without having to do any much more work, what this is suitable for, what this is zoned for, and it sort of matches what we have been talking about. So I think they did a good job. Keep that in
And
mind.
I will add too, the city has no timeline for 151. So I know for a while we were waiting, we still have no timeline, but so moving forward with this independently, I think is a better.
Yeah, that's right. We were going to tag team this. Okay. We're going to make a motion to accept the appraisal, and we can draft a RFP. Does that sound right? Okay. Who would like to make a motion to accept this appraisal and to draft the RFP?
So moved.
Ally?
I'll second that, Lisa. It's Joe.
Thanks, Joe. All in favor, hands and aye. Aye.
Aye.
And so by January, we'll have the RFP, if not before, we can't vote on anything, but.
The RFP is done, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I've shared that. I shared it this month, but it hasn't changed at all from previous times I've shared it.
okay.
But if board members want more time to look at it, we can wait till January.
Oh,
mean,
no,
nothing's
no,
gonna-
no.
This is frozen. Where's that mean?
Is it in that? It's not in my packet. Is it in others?
No, wasn't in mine.
I didn't see it. I saw the appraisal.
Yes, but I didn't see an RFP.
Sorry, my internet froze.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know if you want to wait till January to decide on releasing it.
Did we see it?
Jen, I don't know if you heard us. It's not in December packet.
Oh, okay. I thought I think maybe I just put the appraisal in. I forgot.
Yeah,
to
the
put it.
appraisal was there, but nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, I've shared it before, but I can send it after this meeting, so you have time to look at it.
Okay, so we'll have to put off, we can just, let's amend the motion to just accepting the appraisal. And all in favor, oh, no. Yeah, all in favor of the amended motion to accept the appraisal signify by saying aye. Raise your
Aye.
hand. Okay. And so January will review and vote on the RFP. All righty. Did I skip anything? Oh, the personnel policy handbook. I'm sorry, I skipped that way up top. Has anybody had a chance to review the draft of the personnel policy? As I had a few comments. So I'll just go right on with them. We have a 1.0, a welcome the frequently asked questions. I'm not sure why that's in there.
I think that was just taken because we modeled this off another land bank, but I think it's just, basic information, but we don't need to put it in that way. It could just be more of a summary.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I'm
Yeah.
a contractor, how can I get work?
Yeah,
Stuff like that. It just seems to
Yeah.
be more general.
agreed.
Same, that confused me.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get rid of at least 1.0.
Why doesn't the team go through and revise it and present it at January's board meeting for approval?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that comments that I have are in there.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, maybe we can have, can you give us a deadline, Jen, and we'll, if you get comments by that deadline from the board members, you incorporate them, otherwise we get a revised one to vote on in January.
Okay.
So what would you like for a date for comments? Because the next couple of weeks are going to be tough.
Yeah.
If you have
Maybe
them,
January 12th. I don't know if people, that'd be a
Do we
week
have-
for the next meeting.
is our board meeting going to be on the 12th or the 19th? 19th. I think that if you guys can get it together by the 12th, I think that that's a good date. You'll have enough time to revamp it with, I don't think it's going to be significant. Okay, so let's plan on doing that. People get your comments in enough time so that if I send something in and staff says, I don't know what she's talking about, they can reach back out and say, what are you talking about? And we can, have a little play. So 12th is the absolute limit. If you can turn it in by tomorrow, great. Just don't forget about it over the holidays. Jen, you know what? After the 1st, send out a reminder that you need to get your comments in.
Jen, can I suggest, I don't know if you have it in Word, it's probably easy for us to mark it up in Word if you have it.
Yeah, I was looking for that. I don't know if we do, but I don't know. I'll look for that or I'll convert it if I can.
Okay.
Okay, good. So we'll submit comments on that. Everybody, please look over it. Anything else that anybody wants to discuss? Just in general session, do we need to go into executive session? Any issues we need to address? Jen?
There was one issue.
Okay. So, a motion to adjourn the general meeting.
So moved.
A second,
Who is that?
Anthony.
Thanks, Anthony.
So you
Okay.
closing the meeting or just adjourning to executive session and coming back and closing the meeting? Is that what we'll do?
I don't know why we can't close the meeting.
Okay,
What do you,
close the meeting. Okay.
so, all in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, hold on one second. The next meeting is January 19.
At 11:30 again, right?
Okay. January 19, 11:30. Good.
All right, let me end